Tyler buys a World Cup ticket package. Sophia pays for one match in cash and banks the rest. Same tournament, same city, same summer, and by the time it's over, one of them is right for a reason he never saw coming, and the other is broke for the exact same one. Because while 48 teams chase a trophy across 16 cities, the country hosting them is quietly stepping over a line that almost every fading empire in history has stepped over right before the lights went out. My name is Nick, and today we're running the actual math on what happens to the American economy after the confetti gets swept off the field. Not the recession bait, not the doom scroll, the real numbers, the ones still standing on July 20th when the last stadium empties out and everybody goes home. Because the World Cup didn't cause what's coming. It just handed 300 million people something beautiful to stare at while it arrived. Let's talk about the bread and the circuses. Here's what I want to do, and I want to be fair about it because this topic attracts a lot of people who are either selling you gold coins or selling you a bunker. So let's keep it honest and let's keep it even. Tyler and Sophia are the same person on paper, same age, same city. Let's say one of the 11 American host cities, so the tournament is happening right in their backyard. They both make about $60,000 a year. They both have a little cushion in the bank, a car payment, a credit card, and the vague low-grade sense that things have gotten more expensive lately without anyone ever quite explaining why. They are, in other words, you, or your neighbor, or the guy 3 cubicles over who will not stop talking about the group stage. The only real difference between them is what they believe this summer means. Tyler believes it's a celebration. And honestly, why wouldn't he? Every headline for 2 years has told him the World Cup is going to pour money into the country like a busted fire hydrant. He read that the tournament would add $17 billion to the American economy and create 185,000 jobs. He watched his mayor stand in front of a stadium on the local news and use the phrase once-in-a-generation windfall with a completely straight face. So Tyler does what a reasonable, optimistic person does when the good times are supposedly rolling. He spends a little. He puts a $1,200 ticket and travel package on his credit card. He upgrades the television because you can't watch history on a screen from 2015, and he tells himself he'll pay it all off when that windfall finally trickles down to him. Sophia watches the exact same coverage and has a slightly different reaction. Not cynical exactly, just itchy. She wants to go too. She's not a robot. So she buys exactly one ticket to one group stage match, the cheapest seat in the building, which still runs her the better part of a car payment. She pays for it in cash. Then she watches the rest of the tournament from her buddy's couch with a $12 pizza instead of a $200 stadium tab. And the money she didn't spend chasing the whole bracket, she quietly moves into a boring high-yield savings account that pays her a little something just to sit there, because Sophia has noticed something about the big round numbers that get repeated on television. The bigger and rounder they are, the fewer people seem willing to show you the arithmetic behind them. So before she spends another dollar, she does the one thing almost nobody in that stadium does. She asks where that 17 billion actually comes from, and more importantly, where it actually goes. And that one question is where these two lives quietly begin to split apart. Let's start with the windfall, because it's the number on the thumbnail. It's the number the mayor loves. $17 billion, 185,000 jobs for the United States alone. Across all of North America, the projection climbs north of 40 billion. Enormous, delicious, the kind of figure that makes a city council vote yes without reading the fine print. That figure came from FIFA, which, and I want you to hold this thought gently in the back of your mind for the next 50 minutes, is the organization that collects the money. When the referee sells you on how fair the game is going to be, it's always worth remembering that the referee is also, in this case, the house. So Sophia keeps pulling the thread, and she finds that when an independent firm, Boston Consulting Group, ran their own numbers on the exact same tournament, they came back with something closer to $5 billion of short-term activity and around 40,000 jobs across all 3 host countries combined. Not 17 billion for the US, 5 billion for the entire continent. That is not a rounding error. That is the gap between a windfall and a pretty good weekend at the mall, smeared across a landmass of 600 million people. And here's the part that actually matters for Tyler. Even that smaller number is temporary. Every